In a case dubbed the forgery trial of the century, a judge in Israel will decide this week whether an archaeological artefact is the only one ever discovered with a direct link to Jesus Christ. When the 2,000-year-old burial box was found in Israel a decade ago, it caused a worldwide sensation. Known as an ossuary, an inscription declared that it held the bones of Jesus' brother James. But skeptics claim it's a forgery. Paraic O'Brien reports now on the 7-year trial, now finally drawing to a close.
The film script for the St. James's burial box trial writes itself. The plucky private collector with an artefact that has a possible direct link to the Son of God.
May belong to the family of Jesus of Nazareth.
The establishment wants to make an example of him.
Forging an object to make it look pretty, that's one thing. But forging an object to change history, that's where I draw the line.
The police say he's part of a ring of criminal forgers. The trial has taken 5 years. The verdict this week. The world of Christendom holds its breath. And here's why. This limestone burial box or ossuary used for holding the bones of the deceased. The box itself dates from the time of Jesus, but it's the inscription that's caused a stir. Carved into its side in Hebrew, James, son of Joseph, brother of Jesus.
Most of them came from the kingdom of Judea.
Odette Golan has one of the biggest private collections in Israel. He says the box had been sitting in his shop for years before a leading academic happened upon it.
He noticed by looking through several photographs of other items in my collection that there is a potential that the ossuary that was at that time already with me for more than 25 years may belong to the family of Jesus of Nazareth. At that time I didn't even know that Jesus had siblings.
It electrified the world of popular archaeology. There were books, there were documentaries. Then there was an arrest warrant. The police, along with the Israeli Antiquities Authority, said Golan and accomplices had added the brother of Jesus bit.
They took original antiquities and added inscriptions and decorations, which turned the artefact into something valuable. And some of the antiquities we're talking about are worth millions of dollars.
The trial began. Academics lined up to give evidence against the ossuary, but there were exceptions.
I myself am convinced that there is no evidence for forgery. If it was forged, maybe it was forged 2,000 years ago.
The entire patina that coated the inscription was obviously not the same as the patina coating the rest of the ossuary, which is highly suspicious.
The dispute centred around analysis of a microscopic coating inside the inscription. At one point, the judge asked how he could be expected to make the call when the scientists themselves couldn't agree. Golan wasn't the only one on the stand, though. The establishment have been staking their reputation on a guilty verdict.
This is something which has to be stopped. We lose our credibility. Museums lose a lot of money on this. Collectors, whom I don't have a whole lot of... It really doesn't bother me so much if a collector gets stung for a couple of $1 million, because they learn real quick. But the fact that museums get stung, and these are institutions which are supported by public funds, that's where I draw the line.
Then there's the Catholic Church, some of whom believe that Mary was a lifelong virgin and didn't have other children.
There's more at stake here than the reputation of the Virgin Mary, though. The archaeological establishment in Israel and beyond have been scathing of Mr. Golan and his findings in court, as have the Israeli police. Then there are those desperate that the box turns out to be the real McCoy.
If it does, the scholarly and scientific implications are immense. And, of course, Mr. Golan leaves court about $2 million richer. If it's fake, though, it cuts the legs from under the multi-million-pound black market in biblical antiquities, the bane of licensed archaeologists. Either way, dig down into this story and you'll come across layer upon layer of vested interests.